All right. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone to the Launch While You Learn webinar. Before we get started, I would love to see in the chat where everyone is from. Let's get connected. Let's bring some really big energy, electric energy into the space. Super excited to connect with all of you. We have Canada in the house. We have, wow, okay. Atlanta, Phoenix. There we go. I'm loving it. All here to see you, Russ. You gotta love this, huh?
I'm excited. Yeah.
New York, Atlanta. Yes, yes, yes. Love it, love it, love it. Welcome, 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 Indiana, Washington, Illinois, Ohio. Thank you. Thank you for choosing to spend the evening with us, or no matter where you are. We have people all over the world, so it could be evening, it could be morning. Thank you for, yes, for spending some time in here. As you know, we have Greta in the chat. She will be connecting with all of you, of course, gathering your questions, and connecting within this space. And so, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get right into this and introduce, of course, the man of the hour here as we, of course, navigate through someone who, again, is living proof that you don't have to wait until you're certified to start earning as a coach. And we'll dig into a little bit more of that. So let's engage. Let's make this fun. Again, this is a judgment-free zone. So we're gonna have some fun. So if you look at that again, that chat box, make sure that you are sending it to everyone instead of the hosts and panelists when you're having your questions and comments in the chat as well. Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right, so let's go into introducing, of course, our gentleman here. That again, without further ado or any, hold on, I'm rambling here, but connecting with, of course, Russ Hosmer, and we're going to ask him some questions, get him connected again. Drop your questions in the chat. So the question everyone again is answering today, or we're answering today, is what if you could start earning before graduating with a health and life coach certification? So we're sharing real stories, real tactics, and real results. In fact, we have students telling us things like, I had a total of 6 clients before I was even certified, or 5 full paying clients. And I've been in the wellness industry for over 2 decades. And the one thing I've learned, and the best time to practice is while you're still learning. So today, we want to hear from someone who did exactly that. So with me today is Russ Hosmer, the Marine Corps veteran, competitive bodybuilder, and founder of Constant Progression Coaching. Russ is a graduate from our BHLC program, but here's the kicker. He started taking clients and getting paid before he even finished the course. So let's welcome Russ, everyone. Give him a round of applause in the chat. There we go. There we go. There we go. Welcome, welcome. There we go. Heather's involved. So, Russ, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. It's always an honor to be here, right? And to have this journey and to share this journey with you. And again, my name's Russ Hosmer. A lot of people call me Hos. Sometimes that's easier, it's shorter. And I am the founder and the president of Constant Progression, which is a premier life and health coaching platform. It's basically designed for professional adults who are ready to take ownership of their growth, their performance, and their overall well-being. And as Reggie, and again, in the health and fitness industry, I bring over 30 years of experience in the health and fitness and human performance industries. And then combine that with my background as a U.S. Marine Corps veteran. And I've done published research as well with muscle recovery with Vanderbilt University. And I can tell you, I'm just really excited to be here, and I'm very, very thankful for HCI. And thank you, Reggie, for having me.
I love that. Go Doors, right?
Yeah.
So during your journey, of course, Russ, you found HCI during your own transformation. Would that be close to being correct?
Yes, absolutely. That is accurate. Very correct. And, I did find HCI during my own transformation journey. And at that point in my life, I was doing extensive research because I knew that finding the right platform wasn't just about getting a certification. Okay. It was about building a solid foundation to truly launch a meaningful life coaching and health coaching business, right? And for me, Reggie, nothing even came close to what HCI had to offer. Not even close. The curriculum, the support, the community, it was exactly the structure and the depth that I was searching for. And Reggie, and truthfully, it couldn't have come at a more critical time for me because at the time I was navigating a very rough patch for me, working through my own personal fight with the harmful effects of PTSD, which I have PTSD. I am a PTSD survivor. And, as a Marine Corps veteran, the struggle is real, right? And it's something that I don't take lightly. And HCI gave me not only the tools to heal and grow myself, but also the ability to turn that pain into purpose, which is incredibly powerful. And I couldn't have done that without HCI. And that's why I'm so passionate about serving others, especially veterans and first responders who are carrying those invisible battles.
Absolutely. One of the things that I have conversations a lot when it comes to meeting with people as a clarity coach is they want to know, how can I turn this passion into a paycheck, right? I know I have something in me, but at the same time, Comcast and Netflix and all the things are still the mortgage, the kids, right? Those things have to be taken care of. And so
Sure.
what I want to ask you, of course, is, and you took action right away, right? And really took the
Yes.
tools that we had. So, how did you go about in our program getting your first couple clients before even graduating?
Yeah, so yeah, I didn't wait till graduation to begin coaching. I think at first I kind of thought I would, but I started taking on paying clients like right away because the decision came down to mindset really and experience, and I didn't want to wait because I know I didn't need to really. And one of the greatest lessons I've always carried with me as my time as a U.S. Marine is this, and that's the best way to get better at something is to do it. And you can prepare, you can study, you can train, but at some point you have to step into the arena. And that's what I chose to do with coaching. So were there mistakes along the way? Absolutely, but I've never seen mistakes as setbacks. They're just tools for growth. And again, it goes back to the mindset, right? You have to have that mindset. And look, every misstep is an opportunity to refine, improve, and become stronger as a coach. And by putting yourself into that real world practice while still learning the framework through HCI, look, I was able to grow faster and gain the confidence to serve at a higher level.
Mm, I love it. I love it. Let's go to the chat real quick. How many people in the chat are considering or thinking about becoming a health and life coach? Drop it in the chat real quick. Let's see who we have in the building before we dive a little bit deeper. Yes. All right. Leah, Amy.
Awesome.
Awesome. Awesome. This is going to be truly inspiring to you all. So, before we dive a little bit more into Russ, we're going to go into a little myth busting. Can you ride with me a little bit on that, Russ? Because
I'm
there's
with
so
you,
many
man. I'm
things
riding. Give it to
that
me.
are but there's so much information out there, right? I always tell people there's
Yes,
analysis or paralysis by analysis, right? It's trying to
indeed.
find out what to trust, what information out there is important, right? And as we navigate through the space, right, really understanding like who it is and how we need to navigate through that. So let's bust a couple of myths here. So let me ask you this, Russ. Did you
Hmm.
struggle with the best time to practice is while you're still learning, or that you need to be credible in order to get clientele?
Hmm. That is a great question, Reggie, because and look, yeah, I'll be honest. I did struggle with that myth in the beginning because I had the thought that I needed to be fully certified before I could even be taken seriously, or before I could start even working with clients.
Mm,
But what I quickly realized, guys, is what I leaned into is that the best time to practice is why you're still learning, something you mentioned earlier, Reggie. And that's exactly what I did, right? And it ties right back to what we just talked about. Like being in the Marine Corps, the Marine Corps taught me that the best way to get better at something is to simply do it, like I mentioned before. And waiting for that perfect moment or the perfect credential can actually hold you back. So, by taking action while I was going through the BHLC program, I was able to grow in real time and build the momentum that I was really looking for. So, um, Reggie, let me be clear right here on something because credibility does matter. And really, and that's where HCI comes in because HCI gave me the tools, the structure, and all the proven frameworks that established my credibility as a professional coach. But the confidence to start serving people while I was learning, that's what really accelerated my growth. So my message really to anyone holding back is simple. Don't wait. Practice, learn, and grow
Mm,
simultaneously because that's how you build both confidence and credibility.
mm, mm. I couldn't agree with you more. And, we talked about that methodology, right? And this is actually why our methodology works so well, right? We have
Hmm.
that learn, apply, launch approach, right? Where
Yes.
you're learning the habit change coaching method that helps clients, gain new perspective and take empowered action. But then you're also applying it to yourself. You're applying it in our weekly labs that give you space to practice, right? One of the
Mhm.
things that I always love to stress when I have conversations about people who are considering becoming a health and life coach through our certification program is the peer interaction, right? You're now around people. And the one thing I love about having these webinars is we have people from all around the world right now that want to be in the same space, number one, that 9 times out of 10 believe the same thing, right? They're here to help. They want to be able to help. They want to make impact. And one of the things about that is in our space is you now get to be connected with thousands of like-minded individuals who want you to be successful, right? So now you go from kind of taking this journey by yourself to now having a network of people, right, that you can connect with, especially in our course when you join, specifically working with the people that join with you at the same time. There's nothing like that. You want to talk about that a little bit, Russ? How did you feel about the connection with community and just being in the space?
Well, you talk about the learn, apply, and launch methodology, and that's like one of the biggest reasons HCI was such a perfect fit for me,
Hmm.
because just the way it's structured allows you to immediately put it into practice, what you're learning, rather than just keeping it theoretical, right?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
for me, learning that habit change coaching method was incredibly powerful. And it gave me a proven framework to help clients shift their perspectives and take empowered action. And because I was applying it right away, in coaching pods and weekly labs, I could test, refine, and get real-time feedback from peers and mentors. Reggie, that right there, that hands-on element made the learning stick in a way that no textbook or lecture ever could. Man, this is such the structure of HCI, guys. I cannot. I can't say good enough stuff about this stuff. But look, it's when you combine all that with the business and the marketing training, you weave all that in early. It creates the perfect environment to start earning while you're learning.
Yeah,
It's like the perfect environment, guys. And it just fits seamlessly. And that combination of this structured methodology and the real world application gave me the confidence to start serving clients right away.
yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. Let's go in the chat. Like, how many of you right now are feeling like you have this big gift inside you, but you just feel alone on the journey? By raise of hands, is there anyone out there that's like, you know what? I really just want to be around people who think like me, who are in support, yes, from day one, right? That that there's something deep down inside, right? And yeah, you may have family and friends that are in support of you, right? There's nothing like being around the same amount of people that have the same passion or desire, right? And you, to that point, you end up learning so many things without even knowing it because now you're gaining new perspective and everyone's there. Just a little boost. I hear you, Alicia. She just needs a little boost, right? And that's sometimes that's all we need to get to
Hmm.
the next space, right? It's just that space of understanding and compassion and meeting people who've been where you are right now, right? And like, hey, it's going to be okay. And we're going to show you how to get there, maybe even a little bit faster than we did, right? Because, and you've probably experienced this, the people that you've talked to who may have come to you and said, hey, I really want to become a health and life coach. You're like, oh man, I can give you the fast track. start here with HCI, right? And we can move a lot of the things further, right? Along the way. Yes, I love it. Thank you, Casey, for sharing. 100%. Thank you, Leisha. Yes. Sometimes we just need that extra boost, right? Or that extra hand, right? To lift that next person up. Because in reality, that's what we all got into this industry for, right? Is to be of service to people, right? And what better way to be around a bunch of people and build your business, or build your your experience and your education than around people who have the exact same goal for themselves, right? So why don't we do this? Let's get specific about how you did this. Like, looking at your timeline, when did you start taking like practice clients?
Well, that was a journey in itself because I actually started taking on practice clients within just about 4 weeks of enrolling in
Wow.
BHLC. Because I didn't want to lose momentum. I felt like I had so much momentum going in. I was so excited. I wanted to apply what I was learning like immediately. So getting started that early gave me valuable real world experience and helped me grow my confidence as a coach while I was still building my skill set through HCI.
I love it. I love it. No, absolutely. And when did you transition to then going into, well, you said you started off with like getting paid clients, right?
Yeah, well, no, I will. Yeah, but after I
So,
began, I began
yeah,
with two practice
I
clients.
love it.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and I transitioned to paid clients very quickly. So
Uh-huh.
I only did two clients at no charge. Uh,
Hmm. Hmm.
I don't like the word free. Free is expensive, but no charge. But I transitioned to the paid clients very quickly after that, and probably within 3 to 4 weeks. And
Wow.
what's interesting, Reggie, and honestly a little uncanny is is that those first paying clients actually came as referrals directly from my two unpaid clients.
I
So
love it. I love it, right?
yeah, so I mean, I only worked with two clients without charging,
Hmm.
and the results and impact that they experienced
Hmm.
spoke for themselves. And
I
then they
love it.
shared their experience with others, and before I knew it, I had paying clients coming in, and it's that early referral process reinforced for me just how valuable it is to serve fully. And even when you're just beginning, even when you deliver value, people notice. And guess what? They're going to share your name, guys, because you're going to
Oh
be
yeah.
making an impact.
I'm glad that you said that, because we've all been there, right? Where we end up being the free advice counselor, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
How many of you all are experiencing that right now in the chat, right? Like, man, everyone comes to me for advice. Everyone comes to me and they leave better, right? I'm sure we're gonna get the chat is gonna go crazy right now, because I know that's kind of how we all get started, right? Where it's like everyone's coming to me for advice, right? Some do good, Heather. Yeah. And they're just like, hey, I need what you have, right? And because we're givers, because we want people to be better around us, it's so natural to just give it away, right? But then do we feel fulfilled within that as well? A little bit, right? But like you said, providing so much value then did what? It allowed them to say, hey, you all need to go talk to Russ, right? And now we're getting paid to do that. Yes, I have clients that need their fix of me. Absolutely, Lynette, you get it.
Yes.
Absolutely, right?
Yes.
So navigating through that space, right, and understanding that yes, it's okay to get paid to do what you love, right? And I think sometimes we get so caught up in that. So let's talk about a little bit more about your messaging and tactics, right? Like, how did you position yourself to, number one, get those first couple of, non-paying clients, and then get them to actually say, hey, I got two people for you that, will gladly pay you for what you just provided me.
Yeah, so Reggie, that's a great question because messaging and tactics can sometimes be overwhelming and maybe intimidating even, right? And my messaging and tactics really came down to clarity and authenticity, really. And from the very beginning, I always positioned myself and my coaching business around one central idea, and that's helping high-performing adults recalibrate their lives. Um, and we do it through mindset mastery and structured habit change that I learned through HCI, very effective and health optimization, of course, too, right? And I didn't try to be everything to everyone. I think that's important to everybody here because you really can't be everything to everyone, right? And I spoke directly to the people that I know that I could serve best, like professionals, veterans, first responders, those types of things. And those were the types of people who were carrying heavy loads and needed a reset. And I felt that I could help them. And what worked best for my coaching model was leading with, we talked about it earlier, value and results, right? So really, I built my coaching and my messaging around transformation that clients could actually expect,
Mm,
clarity, resilience, and sustainable performance rather than just selling coaching sessions, right? So, and of course, everybody has a personal story. So share your personal story, right? So mine is like my background as a Marine, my decades of experience in health and performance and combine that with habit change coaching method I learned through HCI, that authenticity within itself created trust.
mm,
I was already positioned as a subject matter expert at that point. And Reggie, just to talk about tactics real quick, right? And so in terms of tactics, referrals were powerful early on and still are. But I also focused on being visible and consistent, whether it was speaking in professional spaces, networking with organizations, or putting out contact that educates, inspires, right? So you got to position yourself as both a coach, but also a subject matter expert. Like for me, it's in performance and in resilience. That's been a key driver of growth for me. And when people see you as a credible authority who also truly cares, the right clients will find you.
I love it. You know, one of the things that I heard you say, Russ, is really talk about. I mean, and I can probably drop this in the chat. You know, the confidence is giving Russ, like the confidence that you have about where you are and how you want to serve is so electric. How did that turn into the confidence to start actually charging? Like, where did your rates come from? Like, how explain that process? Like going from the unpaid client to then, hey, I've got somebody for you. Like, did you have to scramble real quick to put some pricing together? Like, how did that work?
A lot of solitude. Yeah, no, look, pricing confidence is definitely a big one. And I'll be honest, that was probably one of the more challenging aspects of building my coaching business because in the beginning, it really does feel like walking into unknown, uncharted territory because you're putting a number to your value, your expertise, and your ability to create transformation. Not really an easy task, really. So you have to have that confidence, that self-confidence, right? You got to see yourself as a value to your clients. You have to see yourself as the subject matter expert, and you have to really have confidence, self-confidence in your ability to help transform your clients. And for me, I had to dig deep to find that confidence within myself. Even though I am a confidence person, this is was a little bit different for me, and it came down to holding firm to my self-worth and trusting my own credibility. And I had to remind myself that I wasn't just charging for time, right? I was also charging for the years of experience and the proven methods and the life-changing results my clients could achieve through our work together,
Mhm, mhm,
right? So you got to see both sides of the coin there. So you're not just charging for your time,
mhm,
guys, right? Because you are the subject matter expert. What you are bringing a lot to the table. So you got to look on the other side and say, okay, well, I'm not charging for time. I'm actually charging for my years of experience. And
mm.
again, that goes with, coaching, paid clients and earn while you learn kind of thing,
Right,
because
right.
this is so important because you learn this as you go.
I love that. One of the things that I love, and you hit it right on the head, was experience, right? How
Mhm.
many of us have life experience, right? That we just say, you know what? Either it qualifies you, right? Or you feel like it disqualifies you.
Mhm.
And the one thing that we've learned in the space of health and life coaching is that every experience that you've had, I talked so many people who've gone through traumatic experiences, who have lifted themselves up out of them. I'm sure we can raise a couple hands in the chat about that too, right? Like that's what really drew you to wanting to be of service to others, right? Is because you made it through this tough situation, right? And now you can help other people go through it, right? Yep, we're getting all the hands raised on that one, right? Resiliency, correct, Leisha. And one of the things in that space, right, is really being able to have confidence that you're good enough, right? Because of what you went through. Tell me a little bit about that. Did you always have kind of that confidence, or was it like, you know what, am I qualified? Or did you ever question your qualification?
Yeah, always. We always question our self-ability, right? Because there's days that we come by and say, "Oh, I'm not good enough," or "I'm not this," or "I'm not that." We always get that, right?
Mhm,
The key here is to really trust yourself and to stay grounded in the value that you bring. So
mhm,
you gotta look inward, right? And not shy away from charging what your coaching is worth. So when you believe in your impact, it becomes much easier to stand firm in your pricing. And the pricing structure evolves as you grow, as you learn your clientele, you learn your audience, you learn your market, right? Your demographic. This stuff just starts falling into place, guys. You may not see it right now, but once you start doing it, that's why you need to earn while you learn. You can put everything that HCI teaches you, this whole structure, you can just implement it immediately. It's fantastic. This structure is unbelievable.
I love that. John, fellow Marine, he has really changed my life. I love that, John. Yes, absolutely. I did see a question earlier, Russ. When did you graduate from the program?
So I graduated in the program, well, I think finally graduated in November of 2024.
Okay. Love it, love it. So this isn't, the COVID craze where everyone became coaches. This is you literally, came out of this space, right, where um everyone talks about, and we'll probably talk about it a little bit later, but the saturation, right,
Mhm.
of coaching and the things along those lines. And you've come out of course, our course last year, and now have created this successful business, right? Let's talk about a little bit of the time management, right? So navigating through now, fast forward, you got a couple clients, you have a couple, non-paid and paid clients that running that hybrid right now, right? As you're learning.
Yep.
And now you're still learning and you're still studying. How did you manage all of those things? And in addition to whatever else may be going on in life to finish the certification program.
Yeah, so I mean, we all get these missiles fired at us every day, and this thing called life and
Yeah.
um, time management is absolutely crucial during my season, during my journey, during this journey of why I was earning, while I was learning, and balancing studying with coaching really required real structure. And my coaching program right now is based on structure and discipline. As John mentioned earlier, he's one of my clients. He knows, but fortunately, my background as a U.S. Marine, it prepared me well for all this because in the military, time management isn't optional, right? It's a matter of operational readiness. And I carried that mindset over, and that's how I approached building my coaching practice while I was going through the BHLC program. So I really developed a system that fit exactly what I was trying to accomplish. So I really leaned in on a combination of strategies that worked really well for me. I worked on a bucket system, which actually prioritized where my energy and focus needed to go. I also used reverse planning really to map out details and work backwards from my goals. And then, even using techniques like Pomodoro, really, right, to stay sharp and to avoid burnout. Very, very structured. Um, because the key was making a clear schedule with time allotments, like dedicated blocks for coaching and dedicated blocks for studying. And by protecting those windows and treating them as non-negotiable, right? I was
Mm,
able to stay consistent and keep momentum in both those areas. So when you dedicate those blocks, those are business meetings. You don't reschedule those. Those are like board meetings with yourself, right? And that's how you really have to treat
yes.
them. So using the time wisely is what kept me focused and on point and ultimately successful in managing both learning and serving clients at the same time.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, man. Cynthia, yes, good information, 100%. So let's turn the page a little. Let's talk about tuition paid and confidence gained. How about
Yeah.
that? I
Yes,
want to show everyone the potential here, right? So we see students start with beta packages at trial prices and then move on to 12 session series, group session series, and eventually, more premium packages and
sure.
services along those lines. Tell me, what were your early offers like, and how did, pricing those things when you first started happen, and where are they now?
So, Reggie, that's a great question. When I first started, my early offers were very straightforward because I really didn't know really what to offer because I didn't know. I already knew what I knew, right? So, I just launched with just a basic 12-week transformation program that had very heavy emphasis on fitness and wellness. Okay. And that structure made sense because it aligned with my background and gave clients a clear, results-driven pathway. They knew exactly what I was offering them. And as I continued coaching and gained confidence while going through the BHLC program, I began to expand and then adapt my offers because, again, I'm learning why I'm earning. I'm learning, guys. So I'm learning this. And I was able to introduce shorter, more focused options. Like I did a 6-week program. And then I also offered a 30-day transformational reset, right? And what I realized, Reggie, very quickly is that the only way to truly know what clients need and what they'll respond to is to get in the game and coach, right?
Mm,
Real world feedback from clients shaped that evolution of my packages far more than any planning could ever on paper, right? And that's also why I didn't wait until graduation to start because coaching while I was learning gave me the opportunity to refine my offers in real time. And that process is what built my confidence, guys. And because confidence is everything at this point. You have to have the self-confidence. Confidence is in your ability. Okay. And today, Constant Progression, my coaching platform, has a variety of structured programs and flexible payment options that really make it easy for clients to step in at a level that's right for them. And
right.
that evolution from a single program to a suite of options has been
Mm,
key in both serving my clients better and building the business with confidence, right? So again, when you learn and earn and earn and learn, you're going through this program, you're learning all this as you go, and everything, I'm
yeah.
telling you guys, everything falls into place. Everything falls in place. And you will have so many aha moments. You're like, ah, yeah, this works. Oh, aha, look at this. This is works. It's just you just have so much clarity. And I'm telling you, if I didn't like earn, learn while I earned kind of thing and waited till I graduated, I would be in a totally different spot right now.
Yeah. No, I love it. One of these spaces, and I always love when we have these webinars, we're creating a judgment-free zone. So uh, I want to just ask the chat, how many of you are in this space of just, I'm not sure, right? Like I'm hearing what he's saying. It sounds great. And of
Mm.
course, the confidence is there and they feel it, right? How many of you are still battling with a little bit of fear around making the first step? Judgment free zone. This is a judgment free zone. Again, we are all like-minded here. Everyone's in the right space. How many of you still are like, hey, like I feel it, but this taking that first step is still not quite there yet? Okay. Thank you for sharing. Yes. Yes. Let's talk about it, right? The fear of making that first step, right? I'm doing my research to see if it's right for me. No fear. You need fine tuning. I love that, Alicia. Trying to build a brand and quit full time job is a scary transition. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
Experienced coaches a little bit. I need advice from Russ, right? That's why we're here, right?
Woohoo.
Excited but nervous, right? Fear of not having clients. That's a big one, right? The fear of
Yes.
not having clients. And I'm so glad, Cynthia, thank you for sharing that, right?
Yes.
The
Yes.
fear of not having clients, right?
hmm hmm
On the fence, plenty of education and licenses, right? But you still feel there's something else you need, right? That fear, right? Of not like, if I'm going to join this certification program, I know this is what's in my heart, but the fear of not having clients, right? one of the things that makes this possible, let's eliminate the fear, right? And one of the things that makes this possible is our built-in practice and built-in support, right? Rush, you talked about it, right? He was 1 month into the certification program and he's like, hey, I'm finding it. We're putting it together, right? We talk about that peer coaching, the coaching zone, our launch support, right? If you have that fear, right? It's gone now, right? And let me ask you, Russ, because I'm sure you probably felt the same way in some way, shape, or form
Oh,
when you
100%.
started, right?
Absolutely.
Like, is this thing really gonna pan out?
Right.
Talk to me about how our built-in practice and built-in support kind of help you overcome that fear. And then boom, hey, I have two clients that I'm navigating through, and I have two paid clients.
Yeah. So, it's the unknown, Reggie. We all have fear of the unknown.
Mhm.
That's normal, right? And talking about the built-in support and those things, honestly, I've always had this real hunger from learning from others, which is
Mhm.
another thing that really attracted me to HCI, which is the community. And I believe the learning journey never ends, right, guys? I mean, we all know this. We're always hungry for learning, and that's one of the things that made HCI again such a great fit for me is the built-in practice and the built-in support systems that they're just incredible. And you simply don't find that level of integration anywhere else. You don't. I've done a lot of research before I even jumped into this journey. And like again, I'll say it again, HCI, nothing even compares to this program, guys. I'm telling you. And I'm not just saying that. Okay. Um, Look, I leaned in on all of this support, the peer coaching, the coaching zones, the launch support, right? Because I wanted to get the most out of the program just as any of you are going to want to, right? And I can say without question, that support was one of the key factors that propelled me where I am today. No doubt, no question. And if I had to pick what was most beneficial to me, Reggie, uh, it would probably be a tie between
Yeah,
the between
right.
peer coaching and the coaching zone, right? Because the peer coaching zone gave me a space to practice, right, experiment, and then just get comfortable with the habit change coaching method.
Right.
Powerful, powerful. And the coaching zone, that's where you really connect and learn from other coaches and you're able to sharpen your skills because you're able to hear different perspectives. And to this day, I try not to miss any coaching zones because
Love it.
even now they continue to add value for me because I'm consistently always learning. I'm always immersing myself in that. And again, Reggie goes back, that kind of support system is what makes the difference between learning information and
Mhm.
truly becoming a confident, effective coach.
Yes, yes. We talked about it. There's a couple people in the chat that say I need to connect with Russ. Well, that'd be the first start, right? Peer to peer, right? Because we have
Absolutely.
alumni within the program, right? That are there for you, cheering you on, rooting for you, right? In our community, we talk about that peer to peer support, right? It's not just you anymore. It is a group of people who've been there, who've done it, from our mentors and the
You're
peers that
not
are going
alone.
through it with you, right?
Yeah, you're not alone.
At all, at all. So let's address the other elephants in the room, right? So we've kind of overcome the fear of not getting clients because we
Yep.
know that that's going to happen within the
Yep.
program, right? Even before you graduate. But let's talk about the other elephants in the room, right? The imposter syndrome, right? Time management, right? Let's start with the fear of changing, right? And charging. How did you get past the charge portion? Like that moment when that client was like,
Mhm.
"Hey, I'm ready."
Look, the fear of charging is very real, guys. It's scary because it feels both unknown and unfamiliar. And um, in the beginning, I had to face that head on, by leaning back into myself and trusting my own abilities, knowledge, and the value of the program that I was delivering, having that clarity. And I took a chance on the unknown and put my initial pricing out there without overthinking analysis paralysis. I'm famous for that. What potential clients might say or how they might perceive me, right? That took a lot of courage because it's one thing to believe in the concept of self-worth. it's another to stand firm in it when you're asking someone to invest in you, right? Um, so what I learned is that growth almost always happens in those uncomfortable spaces. I'm sure you can
Mm,
all agree with me on that, right? Because you have to be uncomfortable in order to grow. That's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. And the moment you get to a place where you're comfortable being uncomfortable, you really step into real strength and growth as a coach and as a business owner. And it sounds simple, but in practice, it's really anything but easy. But overcoming the fear of charging takes persistence. It takes inner work, which you learn as you go through this coaching program. You're actually learning, you're actually getting coaching sessions yourself as you go through the program. So
mm.
you're getting that inner work this whole time you're going through the program. And and it gives you that willingness just to keep showing up until confidence becomes your new baseline.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. A lot of the prospective students and students that we've had register in the past used to struggle with imposter syndrome,
Hmm.
right? Tell me a little bit about that, especially the people that feel like they have to be qualified, right, to accept the call of becoming a health and life coach. Talk to me a little bit about that. Have you experienced that at all? Or, even maybe with your clients, maybe they've experienced some things in the past. Like, what are the things that I would say maybe allow you to feel to overcome that?
Yeah. So, yeah, imposter syndrome, definitely a big one. And Reggie, to be honest, when I was going through the BHLC program, I have never even heard of the term before. No idea. And it wasn't until I started diving deeper into the material that we were learning that connecting with other coaches and learning more about, uh, the inner challenges that we all face, that I really began to understand what imposter syndrome was and how crucial it is to recognize it, right? And so for me, once I understood it, I realized that those feelings of not being qualified enough weren't a reflection of my abilities. They were a reflection of self-doubt. And that's something that I had faced before. So uh, whether in the Marine Corps or in the early stages of building my business, anyway, in both cases, the solution was the same, is you just lean into action, guys. And, the way I overcame apostle syndrome once I realized what it was, and if I even had it, right, was just continuing to coach and to serve and to show up. Again, you
Mm,
earn while you're learning. You're doing this as you're going. So every client breakthrough, every transformation that I witness chipped away at that doubt. And it
mm,
just reinforced my credibility. And I reminded myself that imposter syndrome is really just a sign that you're stepping into new, bigger territory. And growth always feels uncomfortable at first. So, you know, um, Reggie, just trusting in the training and leaning into the tools that HCI provided and just drawing on my past experience, I was able to shift from questioning if I belonged to
mm.
owning that I was exactly where I was meant to be.
I love that.
Yeah.
And how many of us in the chat, real quick, we talked about fear of charging, imposter syndrome. How many of you are dealing with that right now? Right? The fear of, am I good enough to even consider getting a certification? Dane, love it, love it. Remember, this is a judgment-free zone. Yes, I admit it. Thank you, Cynthia. Yes, Leanne. Possibly. I get it, right? We've all been there. Casey, yes, yes. Of
And
course,
it's
yes. And
and,
to
and
that point,
it's normal to feel that way. I mean, don't
right?
don't think that there's something wrong with you because you feel that way. No, that's perfectly normal.
Yeah. Do I need to be perfect? Who's trusting me? I want y'all to take a moment and before we continue on to see that you're not alone, right, in this space, and that there's people from all over the world right now in this chat on this webinar that feel the same way that you feel, right? And that everyone's come together for this one powerful moment, right? They feel like I will lead by example, right? I mean, all of the things, right? The one thing that I always look at is structure, right? Like, how can we take
Mhm.
all of these things, right? And then instead of them stacking on top of each other, make it more of a vertical timeline, right? So let's talk a little bit more about your time management, especially in the beginning, right? How did you figure out that? And what tips would you give someone who's saying, hey, day one, I want to do everything right, but I don't want to get too overwhelmed and I don't want life to get in the way. What were some things that you would recommend, that people do when they first start?
Yeah, no, another great question, Reggie, because you mentioned it before and you mentioned structure. And um, everything that I do is based on structure because I look at it as if you don't have structure, you have chaos. Plain and simple. You can't build anything without structure. And as we mentioned earlier, we talk about time management, and time management is critical. And I leaned heavily on those few specific strategies that worked very well for me that we talked about. And I just implemented that system that worked best for me. I created that system that worked best for me. You guys just got to create a system that works best for you and just, again, build that structure and stick to that structure, right? And when you're going through the program, it's this will actually just overlap with that and it's going to help you do that, right? So I used a few things, right? So I use what I call a bucket system method. And that's where basically what I did is I divided my priorities into clear buckets so that I knew exactly where my time and energy needed to go each day,
Hmm.
right? So if you have, if there's two things I need to do today, those are going to go in these buckets, and those two things are going to get done no matter what. Over anything else, those two things are going to get done, right? So you just create those types of bucket systems where you're prioritizing what you're doing, right? The second is a Marine Corps thing is we use reverse planning. We use reverse planning quite a bit, and what that is you're actually working backwards from your goal, so you can
Hmm.
map out the exact steps and timelines required to get there. Okay. Um, Sounds complicated, but it's not really because you're doing your goal. And
Right.
yeah, and you're working backwards
Hmm.
instead of working up to your goal, right? So it's just
Right.
a little bit of a different perception. Um, and it's very effective actually. And the other thing too is what I say the third one was no, the Pomodoro, right?
Hmm.
So the Pomodoro technique, and I don't know how many people heard of that one before, but the using the Pomodoro technique is short, focused sprints of work with built-in breaks to keep you sharp and avoid burnout, right? So basically, I'm an 80-20 guy. That's my Pomodoro. That's my sweet spot. So I'll work for 80 minutes and I'm taking a 20-minute break.
Hmm.
No
Hmm.
phone, no TV, no book. I just sit by myself, maybe get a cup of coffee, maybe go for a walk for 20 minutes, nothing, to gain my clarity, my focus back. And then I get back to work and then I'll work for another 80 minutes. So it's like you're stacking your productivity on that Pomodoro because when you stack the productivity on the Pomodoro, every time you come back after get 80, then you 20, and then you come back and you work another 80 minutes. Every time you come back, you get more and more focused in on that task.
Love it.
It's an
And I want
it's
to
an
touch on
incredible
that too.
technique. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to touch on that too. In the space, right? And we talked about how quickly you started and how eager you were to um, have time with clients, right?
Yes.
Tell me, how did that time, right? And we talk about time management, but getting in early, right?
Mhm.
And working with those clients, how did that help you with your confidence and helping you really build your business post graduation?
So, so you talk about the results, right, Reggie? So that the results I saw are truly powerful, right? And in many ways, they're almost equal for both myself and for my clients. And on a personal level, which is just kind of cool because when you're going through the course and you're earning while you're learning, you're being coached too. So you're a student being coached and you're coaching other people. Um, I actually developed stronger habits, more clarity, and probably a deeper sense of alignment. Um,
Mm,
and going through the process while I was learning at HCI really allowed me to apply the tools to my own life in real time.
mm,
Um, Super powerful guys. And that created transformation for me as much as it did for the people that I was coaching.
mm.
And for my clients, I saw the same kind of results as my clients did, developing better habits, shifting perspectives, experiencing that meaningful transformation in both their health and their mindset. And then, that's a direct reflection of how effective the information and methods taught at HCI really are. I mean, seriously, it wasn't just theory. This was practical, it was actionable, it created results on both sides of the coaching relationship. And that's when I knew that I was building something sustainable.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I always tell people, and you said it, you said it multiple times, and I want everyone to drop this in the chat. Start now, right?
Yes.
Start now. Who's gaining confidence and clarity with this? Is Russ providing you all value? Are we building on this, right? Are we really taking what he's saying? Like start now, right? Yes, start now, right? And that seems to be right the underlining, you know, energy, right? As you just said, hey, I'm going to start. It might not be pretty. It's going to be ugly, but the great thing about it is you had this incubator in a sense, right? Of our certification program where you could make mistakes. You could, lean into right the learning and say, hey, I tried this because we all have things the way things we feel are going to go in our mind, right? And sometimes they don't always go that way.
Right.
I've had clients in the past, I was like, man, I really slipped up on that one. Like that did not go as planned, right?
Yep.
Man, we've
Yep.
all been there. We have some educators, some people who have master's degrees, and we were in those incubators, right? Where it's like, hey, like I'm going to learn and I'm going to earn, right? In this space, you can do both, right? You can navigate through the space because at the heart of it all is your desire to help people. And there's
Absolutely.
nothing wrong with that. Like you can't go wrong with helping people. You're in the
Absolutely.
military. I was a firefighter, right? We
Yep.
have the
Yep. Yep.
Samaritan's Clause, right? Where
Yes.
you're
Yes.
doing the good thing, right? Like you know for a fact, like, hey, I am in this space and I'm here for the right reasons, right? And
Yes.
now we're just putting the learning to it so you can now earn from it. But it starts with the heart, right? And that's where that confidence comes from, right? Where we can start taking clients and grow our practices and really be engaged in that space. So I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And for those of you who are not ready yet, right? What would you say to someone who is in our space right now that is watching and thinking, this all sounds good, Russ, Reg, y'all guys are awesome. Would love to hang out with you, maybe. You know what I mean? But I'm just not quite ready yet. And we've seen them in the chat, right? They're just not quite ready yet. What advice would you give them?
So I'm glad you brought that up because I love that I'm not ready thing because I can relate to that because I was that person once and I told myself I wasn't ready. But you know what I've learned is this, ready. Ready is not a feeling. Ready is a
Mm.
choice. Ready is a choice. And
Let's drop that in the chat. I want to hold on. Can we drop that in the chat? Ready? Say it again. Ready is not
ready
a
is not a
feeling.
feeling. Yeah, ready is a choice, guys. Yeah.
Hmm.
So and if you wait until you feel ready, you'll be waiting forever. Because again, ready is just not a feeling. Ready is a choice. And you got to trust in yourself because the truth is you are ready. And the best time to start is always today because someday, quote unquote, isn't even on the calendar. And quote unquote, one day never comes, right? So growth begins the moment you decide to take action, even if it feels uncomfortable. Now's the time.
I love that. Michelle says, I'm trying to decide when to start. Start now, right? Isn't that what we just
Absolutely,
start now?
100%. Yeah, because look,
Start.
because you go back to that, right? And because you have the discipline and self-discipline, and if you have the discipline weighs ounces.
Mm,
Pain of regret weighs tons. So
mm,
you may get down the line, 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 15 years from now, and you'll be like, man, I wish I would have done that. And then you're gonna have that regret. You don't want that regret.
mm-mm,
Today's the
mm-mm.
day. Start today.
Today's
Start now.
today's the day. Yeah. Speaking of support. And of course, being in this space, because we said one of those, and everyone almost raised their hand at this one, the fear of getting a client, right? One of the great things about our program, right, is that I want everyone to know is that we're so confident in this approach that in our Become a Health and Life Coach certification program that we offer a paying client guarantee. Were you? I'm sure you were aware of that, Russ, in the time that you
100%.
were with us, right? And
Yes.
one of the things in that, right, is where we believe you can land your first paying client, or we'll give you your money back. So,
Mhm.
how many of you would find peace and clarity and confidence in that? Like we're that confident in our system and in our space and our peers and our alumni and our mentees and this conversation and the people that are in this chat, right? Right? Cynthia's like, what? This is crazy. And that is where we eliminate, we're doing everything that we can to eliminate the fear, right? To say, hey, you got it. Start now, right? That's one of the reasons Alicia said yes, right? Is that
Yeah.
client guarantee, right? So we're learning, we're earning, and we're guaranteeing success. What does that mean for you? Drop that in the chat. What would knowing you're going to get your first paid client before the program do for the people that are on the fence in the chat? What would that mean? What does that mean for you? Does it give you peace, peace of mind? Does it give you clarity that your schooling will be paid for, right, Justin? Absolutely. That's important, right? Because
Yes.
we understand that this is an investment. It gives me confidence in the training. Shirley's ready. I love it. I love it.
Awesome.
Alicia's ready. Alicia's ready, right? I love hearing it. And these are the things that we want you all to understand that we have your back, right, in this space. And
100%.
knowing that, right, just makes it about a lot easier. So now before we wrap up, I do want to open it up. I know we had a bunch of questions and we got to a couple, but let's take a few questions from the audience and see if there's anything that we can add, for that person that's on the fence, right? Do I have to wait to pillar four to get the training, right? That's at the end, right? No. The business training, no. Within 90 days of the program, right? As we stated, and you said you started taking your first couple of clients within the first month, right?
Yes, that's correct.
We are in the business with you, right? We want you to understand that business portion. And one of the things that, and you can probably attest to this too, Russ, because you were probably in that information stage first, right?
Yes.
Where you're probably weighing out HCI and other certification
Oh, oh yes.
programs, right?
Yes. Mhm.
And there's not many that talk about the business. They're like, hey, congratulations, you're certified. Good luck,
Yeah. Good
right?
luck on your journey. Yeah.
Yeah, see you later, right? But we spend so much time on that because we understand the importance, and we take that return or that investment that you made with us seriously, right? We want you to be successful. Um, yeah, look at Greta's in there answering some of the. Can someone please shed some light on scheduling with the classes of the program? What would the schedule of classes look like? So the great thing about this is that it is self-paced, right? So you do receive your modules weekly. Correct, Sandra. See, look, we got people in here. They know exactly what this looks like. So y'all aren't alone, right?
Oh yeah.
So yes, it's self-paced, right? You want to start ASAP. I love it, John. Look at that. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. Yes, 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 yes. Let me see if I can find some other questions here. Maybe Greta, you can pull some out for me while we're navigating through this. So yes, there is a 30-day guarantee as well with the program. If you feel like it's not a good fit, one thing we want is for you to be comfortable and make sure that this is a good fit. So yes, within 30 days after starting the program, if you feel like this is not for you, you get a full refund. And we have a refund and then your registration is a business training in pillar four. Okay, let's see. At your pace. Pricing. That is great. I'm glad you asked that, Sandra. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Are there any questions that you're seeing, Greta, that you may have that anyone has for Russ? Any questions for Russ before we let me pull it up here. How far were you when you were ready to start?
That's a good question because when I was still doing a lot of research between which would be the best platform
Mhm,
that had the best structure that I was looking for to accomplish the goals that I wanted to accomplish, right? Because that's what I was looking for. So I was kind of in and out, probably for I would say about 2 months before I actually committed. Um, and it wasn't because I didn't know that I wanted to coach. I had to find the right vehicle for me.
mm,
And
mm,
HCI, without a doubt, is the vehicle for me because the structure that they have. Look, it's not just about um, coaching.
mm,
They coach you, they make you better in so many
mhm,
aspects. They give you the business aspect. And like Reggie said earlier, you can go to a lot of different coaching organizations and you can get your certificate and then that's it. And then you're stuck with a certificate and you'd be like, well, what do I do? Right? You don't get that with HCI. HCI follows you and they support you even after you're certified. I mean, I'm still going to coaching zones and I'm still doing, courses through HCI right now to keep learning. And if I have questions, I can just reach out to HCI and I get all the answers and the guidance that I need. So you're never ever alone in this journey ever. And we go back, Reggie, if I could, on the guarantee, right? Because that guarantee in itself is just a reflection of the confidence that HCI has in their own methodology. And
mm,
if you look at that, it's well deserved. And I'm living
right.
proof of that because I started coaching and earning while I was still in the program. And I truly believe that if you show up and you do the work, you will land that first client. And
Mm.
that guarantee gives you the reassurance to step forward and start today. But the truth is the program is so effective, you don't even really even need that reassurance, guys.
Love it. Yeah, absolutely. Well, so if someone was inspired by your story and wants to follow your footsteps, what comes next for them?
Um, I think if my story inspires you, and I appreciate it, I'm 100 and humble for that. And the first thing I tell them is this: is have a decisive plan and set intentional goals and commit with an undeterred will to put in the work because nothing happens by accident and you have to be deliberate about the path you choose. And the second piece is to learn and immerse yourself in as much educational material as you can. And the amount of material and education material that you get through HCI is unbelievable. You don't even need to go anywhere else. I'm telling you guys, there's so much stuff. I'm like just scratching the surface myself. So look, the opportunity's here. The tools are here. And the only thing left is your decision to start. So chase your dreams now because you're ready.
I love it. No, absolutely. And now for everyone watching, here's what comes next, right? I think we had a couple people that were asking about costs. And since you stayed, and this is the beautiful thing about this programming, since you stayed, right? What we want to do first is book a call with your clarity coach. Okay. The link Greta is about to drop in the chat. This is where we're going to help you get clear on your coaching vision to see if HEI is the right fit for you. Second, and I want this to be I want you to pay close attention. When you book, there is a special savings keyword. I think someone had talked about promotions and sponsorships and scholarships. Mention the word health when you book your call, and you can save up to 40% for our September cohort. This is huge. This is
That's awesome.
big. This is big, right? The people that are saying, hey, I'm having it, hey, I don't know if I'll be able to afford, book a call. Book the call. Take the first step, right? We always talk
Absolutely.
about starting. Sometimes it's just taking that first step of having a conversation, right? Let's have the conversation. Who's going to book their clarity call tonight? And trust me, clarity coaches are waiting for you all right now after this. You're going to get some phone calls. You'll probably get some text messages from them because they know you're on the webinar. Who is going to book? I'm already booked for tomorrow. I love it. I love it. Love to hear it,
Awesome.
right? And hopefully
Awesome.
this gave you some value and some energy behind that call that you're going to have. Who else is going to book their call tonight? And take the first step. Me, I love it, Sally. Yes, calling. Thank you, Lacey. Absolutely. Who's
Awesome.
next?
That's
Who's
awesome.
next? I'd like to talk to someone tonight. Absolutely, Melissa. We will have someone reach out to you, John. Same thing, Kimberly. I love it. Yes, yes, yes. Who is going to take the first step? I count 10 people already. So here's a great thing. You're not alone. Michelle, you're not alone. Yes. Alicia, you know what? I love our community so much. They show up to these things and they're still finding value in these conversations, Russ. Like people who are just starting, right? Or alumni.
Yes.
We get alumni on these calls. Everyone. How do I find my clarity coach? Lacey, don't worry. They are going to reach out to you right now. I guarantee you.
Yes.
I love it. Yes, Vanda. Yes, yes, absolutely. Vanda, I think you and I have a call. You enrolled last Wednesday. Yes, yes, absolutely, Lacey. Yes, trust me, they are going to reach out to you now.
Hmm.
Book the call.
Yes.
If nothing else, right? If nothing else, take a moment. You talked about time management, Russ, and being in the space and in the moment,
Yes.
right? Take the call, eliminate the distractions, and
Hmm.
just have a moment with someone who wants to get you to that next phase of life,
Yes. Yes.
right? Without the distractions. Now
Hmm.
we know exactly what you're going to receive. So without the fear, right? Yes, there is a number that you can call as well. Greta, you can drop that. Thank you. Yes, Dane, can you get Dane that phone number and drop it in the chat? Or yes, absolutely. Information. Yes. Okay, Michelle, we'll get that to you. Thank you, Greta. But yeah, just take some time, take a breather. I always tell we start the conversation, just breathe, right? Take a second, breathe, and let's have a conversation. Yes,
Yeah.
health. Keyword is health. If you want to save up to 40% off of your certification program, keyword health, right?
That's awesome.
And
Yes.
just being in the space, right? I think Russ is paying for half that. I think that's what's happening.
Yeah. Exactly.
40%. Yes, Dane, hell. Um, we talk about time management, and you talk about time blocking. Let's block some time to have a real conversation about where you want to go and how we can help you get there. Even if the conversation doesn't end with you becoming a part of our program, you took the first step. How many of you are ready to take the first step? Let's eliminate the fear. I think it's safe to say, Russ, you and I, we talked about literally everything that eliminates the fear. There's no
Yeah.
more fear, right? And we're going to make the choice, right?
Hmm.
Making the choice starts with the call. So book your clarity call, call in right now. I'm sure again, you'll receive a text message here pretty quickly from your clarity coaches seeing how the webinar went for you. But let's take that first step to moving forward and making the decisions. Russ is on the other side. I'm on the other side. Greta's on the other side. The alumni, the current students are on the other side of that decision, waiting for you right now.
We're here to help you.
Let's not waste any more time, right? Let's take action tonight and be a part of the HCI family. As you can see, it's a pretty big family, right? And we
Yeah.
show up for each other, right? All the people. Think about it. Russ has his clients showing up. We show up for each other in this space, right? Thank you, Leanna. No, this is great. And we enjoy the energy. I love these spaces because even though we're not connected, I feel connected.
Yes.
Feel that like it's one of those moments where it's like, man, we're bringing so many powerful people and spaces, right? That are here for one common goal, and that's to help others, right? We have the same passion. Exactly, Alicia. I hope that you feel that, right? So go ahead and book that call, right? book it today, book it tonight, have the conversation, right? And let's move forward. It's been an opportunity. I love each and every one of you. Have a great evening, and we'll see you on the other side.